You're watching Oilersnation Radio.
Welcome into Oilersnation Radio. Tyler, Rick, Dan, and Liam. Liam's here too. What's up?
Was that like a purposeful, you forgot his name? Or
After what you just
friendly razzing.
what you did to me pregame, now you're doing this.
That is true. He did tell off air just before we became live. He told Liam he cannot sing his Oilers Colts theme song.
Yeah, and then he said, by the way, loser, you have to write the article for this show too, because
Bag Milk isn't here, so we split up his duties.
He was flipping you off the entire time he said this too.
yeah, he did both fingers.
That's life.
Too good.
Too bad.
Toughen up.
Well, we certainly have a lot to talk about today because the Oilers' home opener did not go as we planned.
Oh, did we have that? I thought that was tomorrow.
Exhibition now.
I was watching Oilers Nation every day, and Liam told me that was the 9th preseason game.
Yeah.
Before the preseason game, only an 81-game regular season this year. The good news for the Oilers is they got a couple of back-to-backs this week, or they have a back-to-back set of games this weekend against two teams who should be nowhere near the playoffs. Should be a good chance for them to bounce back. We're going to talk about that. We got a delicious debate as well. But first, I just kind of wanted everyone's thoughts on, were any of you guys in attendance for the home opener?
Yes. Paul, you.
I wasn't there, but
Did you see? So, like, there was the video. What did we make of them? There was no banner raising or unveiling. You just walked into the arena, and the banner was there.
I didn't mind that.
You didn't mind it?
Nope.
And the space.
It's not the banner you want. Like, yes, we're appreciative of it. Yes, there's some pride in it. But you raise one banner in front of everybody. And that's not the banner you raise in front of everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
The story is not finished.
Well, that one is.
I genuinely don't know how the Oilers could have done a banner unveiling without it being a meme and a joke. So I think that was just kind of the answer was, okay, it's just going to be up on the roof.
What do you make of, like, not even having the players on the ice or anything? Like, you guys are cool with all of that? You think they did it good?
Just because, for me, I think that when and if they do this, I want them out there for it. And until then, job's not done.
Fair.
Yeah, I think it's good the way they did it, to be honest. Just acknowledge it, move on.
Are you
No, I was good with it.
Okay.
The Oilers generally do this stuff really well, and I was going to compliment them for the video. I thought the video was very well done and really done in a way of, like, it was not painful to watch that. It highlighted all the good moments, and for me, I was a little bit, and I talked about this on Real Life too, so it's a bit repetitive if you listen to both pods, but I was a little emotionally disconnected through preseason coming into this year. Waking up the day of the home opener, usually I am, like, jittery with excitement. I can't wait to be at the game, and I was a little like, And I watched that video and remembered some of the moments through the playoffs and how magical that run was, and it was just like, as soon as the video ended, I was like, I want nothing more than to do that again. Like, let's go. It got me right back. What's the kids? They say 6 to midnight. Got me from 6 to midnight.
Do they say a lot of sayings today I've not heard of?
You've never heard of 6 to midnight?
Never. Maybe
BM has dropped 6 to midnight numerous times.
It's a boner joke.
You've never heard of the Goonies before today?
Oh.
Now you get it?
I was thinking of, like, just the time. I was
I
like,
also
is it about, like, getting drunk and moving the time quick?
We were talking today on ONE about
Damn.
how do you handle your goalies this weekend, and I said, play Skinner in the first one, get the win. And I said, because, bird in hand is worth two in the bush.
Yes.
And Liam was like, what?
That's
is
one he got from his grandparents.
No, that's a fairly common saying.
Not now.
Never.
Yeah, it is.
No, you have not heard
No.
that recently. You heard it growing up 100% by your parents and grandparents and people in that generation, but nobody along your level of age has used that saying.
I was all for it, and I love that he used it. I think you should do that more, Tyler. You should be baking in more of those.
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
There you
That's
go.
another old
I know
one.
that one.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't get it, but I know it.
But watching that video got me emotionally charged up for the season.
Well,
So
maybe they should have put that video inside the dressing room.
Well, that's interesting. Our delicious debate is more of a post home opener one, so I want to continue with this conversation for a little bit. That stunk right from the get-go, although I will give the Oilers credit. For the first 18 minutes, I actually think they were the better team, even if they were lacking in some finer points of their game. They held possession pretty well. But then those two goals, just backbreakers. And when the Oilers were disconnected, boy, were they ever disconnected in that hockey game.
I don't feel like they were really connected in the first place. They
But
weren't. They weren't
okay.
their best.
Yeah.
And I said this last year. I think I probably said it for 2 years. And I'll obviously take it into this year. Our biggest opposition will be ourselves. And there's nothing against Winnipeg. They did not beat us. The Oilers beat themselves. If the Oilers come out and play the way the Oilers can, and we saw it in April, May, and June, if they come out and play that style of hockey when they're at their best, very few teams in this league can touch them. And that includes the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
Again, nothing against the Jets. The Oilers are just, that's where they are in their cycle right now.
It did feel like it got to a point where the Jets weren't, I don't know what exactly, they were just waiting for the Oilers to make poor decisions. And then they just capitalized on it very easily. Right?
Jets
That's
work
kinda how
hard,
it felt.
force turnovers, and they capitalized on them. Yeah.
I don't even know if they forced them. I think the Oilers just passed it into them. I think, obviously, for the most part, it was the Jets doing well in that regard. But there was a few times where it was just like pucks coming out of the zone, and somehow it ends up in the middle of the ice just on a Winnipeg stick. It's like, how did that even happen?
Oh, you mean like the first 13 games of last year?
If we get that again, I'm gonna be upset, Rick.
No, if we
I'm
get
gonna
it
have
again,
two
then
birds
get
in
on
the
top of
bush.
those. Get on top of those bets when this number starts moving.
Yeah, that's fair.
It just felt like the Winnipeg Jets just dictated their game to us. They played, I think it was, I don't know, I guess it was Jack said like that was almost the perfect road game from a team. And I felt like the Jets were dictating to the Oilers, especially in the Oilers zone.
But we were not playing our best.
Of course they weren't. But like,
And if they play their best, the Jets can do their best, and it's not going to be there. As we saw it last year. That's why we were in the final, and they were not.
those were some absolute wide open looks. I like everything. We weren't pressuring them. They were establishing time in the zone. They were cycling around on us. There's guys wide open on shots. Like Kyle Connor's goal was a joke. Like I don't know. I guess I just
But the funny thing is, a lot of things you just said there were Oiler mistakes that led to Winnipeg getting to where they were.
The Mason Appleton one was something else.
I don't even know which ones those are.
It was the second goal when Arvidsson was coming across the ice and the Jets were breaking out. The puck was at center and he took a change and everyone blamed Nurse being like, why did he go to the wall? It's like, because he probably thought the guy who was in the middle of the ice 2 seconds ago was going to follow his guy into the zone. And then he didn't, and Nurse took all the blame for it, and then they scored, and that was 2-0. Yeah, who would have thought? Eh?
It was that breakaway by Lowry right early in the game that really set the tone for the Shifley, that really set the tone for the game.
When neither of them were skating.
Yes,
Like,
But
just absolute slow motion.
You saw what happened with Leon in the middle of the ice, and I think in the third period, that was the Oilers on
When
the
he
whole
fell?
for that game.
Yeah.
He's wide open, and just they toe picked or whatever, falls,
Takes a
turns,
tripping
takes a penalty. It's just that was the Oiler game one in a nutshell.
But and I mean, like Skinner has bailed us out in those situations as well, and just didn't have that from him at all.
Yeah.
I really felt like the coaches left him out to dry. Like, did Pickard forget to put some equipment on and needed to get changed after the fourth goal?
It was weird that they I thought after 4, it was like, you're losing this game.
They
Get 'em
changed
out.
on 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
3
delay
minutes after 5.
Well, I think they waited for the commercial.
Because
It was a commercial when they did it because I didn't even notice it, but my buddy sitting beside me, like, oh, there goes Pickard. Whoa, shit, yeah, there he was. It was during a commercial break. I think so. Watching games previous, guys have made comments where coaches try and make their goalie change
Try not to embarrass.
during
Subtly.
intermission.
I think
So I think that's what he hoped for. Like, guys,
Yeah.
let's get through the second and we'll do the swap. Oh shit, there's 5. Okay, we'll wait for a commercial break till we get, you can skate to the bench anyways because you're just getting your water bottle filled, and we'll fire the other guy out there and try and make it as easy as possible.
I had a coach say to me once, if you pull your goalie, you're basically saying to them, I don't believe you can win me this game. And, like, obviously there's certain scenarios where it's different. And I think you're right, Rick. Like, you just try and save the goal of the embarrassment. Like, you're in the home opener. You're the nationally televised game that night.
If you do that,
the Edmonton Oilers, and it's like, we're going to pull out a goalie who
If
we've
you
all just
wait-
spoke about getting paid.
and if you don't wait till a commercial, the camera's on it, everyone's
Totally.
watching it. You wait till, and I get it.
Save
it's not
it,
that big
yeah.
of a deal, but it's little things that you do for everybody.
And
No,
also,
I disagree.
at
Yeah,
4-0,
it's
like,
little things
the
you do
game's
for your
already
players.
gone
No,
anyway.
But see, that's fine, and
Sometimes
that's
your game isn't there.
That's a thought that we can have as a fan. But we're also not the head coach that's then going into the locker room and having a conversation with Stuart Skinner.
Dressing
I hope
room.
to explain
Sorry.
the dressing room
That's my
to
problem.
explain Stuart your mindset behind that pull. and have that conversation after the game or whenever it is. In that moment, sure, you're telling that goalie that he can't win that game because he fucking couldn't. Like, it's just the reality of the way the team is.
There's times where you play your goaltender and it's not the goaltender, it's on the team to wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of
But
times
this
out
one
there where the
wasn't
Oilers
those.
made mistakes and left the goalie out to dry.
But even then, you're down 4-0. If you pull your goalie then, and I thought this is what they were doing because I thought I saw some stirring, then there wasn't. Call a timeout, Chris.
Yeah, that could have
You
been a
do
good
not
move.
get to accrue them. There's no bonus for the coach who uses the least amount of timeouts in a year.
There should be, though.
Either burn your timeout or do the goalie change because it's a free timeout. Like, my thinking on that was you're down 4-rip. You just gave up 2 goals in fast succession. You need to get this team regrouped and motivated. And guess what? If you come back and make this a hockey game, you're not going to want to use your timeouts later in the hockey game because you're going to be making a comeback. And
what do you think the coach thinks? What do you think? Sorry, I don't know how to ask this, but what happens if he's looking at the team going, my team is not here right now. This is not our game. These guys are... We've seen it a lot of times with a Super Bowl team, the team that loses in the Super Bowl, their first game the next year is usually a stinker.
Yeah.
It's trash. And that's the situation we're in. I walked into that game with that feeling. Like, oh no, like, I hope it's not like this, but there's that emotional hangover. It's a thing. I don't know if I really understand it. I've never been in it. Therefore, I'm not going to comment on it. But it's a thing out there. It's something I was worried about going into the game.
But if that's the case, then get your starter the hell out of the shelling that's about to come at him.
And he did.
I think
He
the
just waited
timeout
what-
was the best play. I think Tyler's right. The timeout would have been the best scenario. Because at that point, too, you're also just hoping he doesn't allow another one after the 4th goes in. And then when the 5th goes in, it's like, well, the game is truly done now.
You're not coming back from 5. You maybe had a shot at 4, but no shot at 5.
Do you know what, though, too? Like, at that point as well, with the timeout, if they were to do it after it was 4-0, they had hit the post right at the end of the first. Arvidsson had that great chance too. I don't remember when the power play came. Maybe it was after the 4th goal, but Draisaitl had that chance where Hellebuck stopped him. Like, they were having a few chances. Maybe if you did call a timeout, they were able to regroup a little bit and maybe get a goal. Who knows? And then you change scan.
At the end of the day, timeout, no timeout, the Edmonton Oilers were not good enough in that game.
yeah, that's
And that goes from top of the lineup to the bottom lineup. Coaches, it doesn't matter. And you know what? I'm going to add in the management now too, because everything happening off the ice right now is extremely frustrating.
it's silly
Okay.
Billy stuff.
We'll talk about that in
Yeah,
a
I may have jumped
second.
a bit.
Let's get into our delicious debate. It's for the all-new Nation beer. It is back. It feels so good to finally have a beer back in the company as well. And we are very excited to be partnering with our friends over at Odd Company to make it happen. It's the everyday lager. It's delicious. Liam and I tried it on ONE today. There was one
tasty.
can left in the office, and we drank it.
I was just going to say I haven't had a chance to try it because they keep disappearing at the office.
Question.
There were like 16 the other day, so
Allegedly.
I do kind of feel bad, but also I drank one of the 16, and Liam and I shared it, so I'm gonna put way more blame on other people.
Big question though. Drink it straight, stir it with a spoon first.
We actually stirred it with a spoon.
We started with a spoon on the show.
Did you?
Yeah, it was just flat.
I mean, that's
the
the
point.
carbonation. Yeah, I mean, flat, not necessarily, but taking the carbonation out of it is something that European beer does not have that we have. As much of.
Combination. Yeah,
That has
because
to do with keeping it fresh,
'cause,
too, right?
yeah. Is it because they're a lager?
Not necessarily, I don't believe. I think that's just their preference. It's like the majority of the beer we drink over here is cold filtered 1 trillion times to try and take the majority of flavor out of it. That's why when you get beer, craft beers that actual flavor to it, a lot of people over here are like, eek, gross.
Me.
But you look at our beers, you take your Bud Lights, your Coors Lights, whatever the hell you want. They're cold filtered. It takes the flavor kind of sort of out of
If
it.
I'm remembering correctly, just one last comment on that. They don't have a lot of light beer in the UK. Like the popular drinks are like Carling, Carlsberg, Bud Heavy, stuff like that. And
Bud
soon to
Heavy?
be Nation beer
Soon to be Nation.
worldwide.
Shout out to Odd Company. Okay, your delicious
Bud Light, Bud
debate.
Heavy.
And I want to be
Jay's
careful in
over
how
too.
I frame this one. There is nothing through one game that is truly worth being concerned about. But what's on your watch list, we'll call it? What are some things from game one that you're sitting there and maybe you weren't willing to talk about in the preseason, but now that you've seen a regular season game, you're like, okay, this, and maybe this are like on my list of maybe it's a problem. Maybe one day it's a problem.
Well, for me, it's the physicality of the defense and the willingness to engage. Of course, it is one game, small sample size, but wasn't there against a Jets team that is not, I wouldn't say huge. They play big, but the
play
defense is
aggressive.
just pushed around.
Yeah, aggressive is a good way to put it.
Play on their toes.
Yeah, it's a good point because they are undersized in a couple of positions there. Like, how big's Bouchard? He's probably 6 feet.
Or he's like 6'2".
Is he? So like they are big, but like they don't have that like physical
play mean,
nature to them, especially
right?
on the right side.
Yeah.
Right side is Bouchard, Dermott, and Emberson. Yeah,
Ekholm's
that's-
probably your hardest defenseman on the team right now.
Nurse. Oh,
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
definitely.
100% Nurse. Nurse has got
Anderson was
that.
soft on the opener.
Nurse has got that snarl to him.
Josh Brown.
Never heard of him.
Boy, oh boy.
What's on your list, Liam?
I don't know. I not really. There's not anything on my list that isn't out of the blue. It's like the blue line is just so questionable. Like I don't know. Like Travis Dermott's playing in the top 4 tonight on his offside. He
I
was
think-
a PTO 2 weeks ago.
I do think
2 days
there's a
ago.
little bit of pace in the forward group issue, maybe. And pace and difficulty to play against is on my list. Jeff Skinner skated around with one hand on his stick a lot. And while I think he'll give you the 24 goals that Evander Kane gave you last season, or more than that, because he'll play more, hopefully, and he stays healthy. You know, Warren Fogle scored 20 goals at even strength, and while he was wildly inconsistent, when he was on, he would forecheck hard, and he'd get in the mix a little bit. And, you know, you lost that. You don't have Evander Kane. And I don't always buy into, like, you need to play tough to be successful. But this isn't even toughness. This is, like, tenacity and forechecking. I think Victor Arvidsson did a very good job of it in the first game. I thought Zach Hyman had a pedestrian night, and it's like, man, without Kane and Fogle, you just lose a little bit of that layer of tough to play against depth. And I worry that there just might be a lot of nights where this team looks too soft.
And they rely on their skill set, right?
Yep.
So they kind of take their foot off the gas in terms of the forechecking and stuff. A lot of the guys, because they don't need to, they're that good.
Yep.
But and you're right, size is a thing. You look at a guy like Holloway, you look at a guy like Raph. These are the guys that we needed to come in here to try and spell out the older players that we're going to need to go down the line. You know, Corey Perry, I still think he's going to be an effective player down the line, but that's kind of when you needed him, right? Right now, the fact we've let so much youth get away.
Yeah.
Youth is hungry. Youth is usually hungry, right? They're out there trying to earn a spot. Now, we don't have anybody pushing anybody right now. And we don't have that internal motor inside this team that when we get our backs up against the wall, they start swinging. Just close your eyes and start swinging. They don't seem to do that. And a lot of the guys, they don't have to because Connor can just get the puck and do what he does and score a goal. Same with Leon. Nuge is there. Hyman's kind of sort of there. That's who those guys are. You have them on your team. Perfect. Now you need to supplement them with the guys, the bangers, the crashes. The guys are going to get the energy going. And I don't think we have that right now. And I will mention it. But yes, those two spots on the right-hand D are troublesome. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to keep watching. But right now I see a guy who was here that I still think will be probably paid by the end of the year, who has a goal and assist in his first 2 games.
Philip Broberg.
Yes.
Oh, not CC. Gotcha.
Tyson Berry. Damn it.
Hey, I mean,
Anyone else?
CC was a lot like Chris Russell, where he was just overpaid in his spot.
Totally.
If you just hack off some of the dollars in his spot, people aren't going to shit on him as much.
Like, hopefully, Ty Emberson.
Yeah.
I think, just on your point, Ty, I think their physicality will ultimately be fine. I think Janmark, Brown, and Henrique really can feed off each other in that way. I thought that line played.
I thought that line was really good.
really
I thought
effective.
Colson was good too.
But don't
No,
like
hold
me-
on. I've got one. No, I have no. I looked at something after the game, and it was those 3, and I can't remember the 4th off the top of my head, were the only 0 players.
They played the most
Everybody else
minutes.
is negatives.
They played the most minutes at 5-on-5. Janmark.
Yeah, and they were
Brown
even.
and Henrique. Yeah, they were solid. I think Arvidsson will get better. He had that bit of a scuffle, didn't he, when Draisaitl whacked Kyle Connor, or Kyle Connor whacked him, and then the other way around. Podkolzin, I could see kind of growing into that kind of younger guy coming through, but you're right. On Tuesday, it was brutal. I think they're going to kick the crap out of Chicago. I think there's got to be so much frustration out for what happened that they're just going to annihilate.
That's what I want
for 10 games last
That's
year.
what I want to see
Yeah,
next
I'm
game.
not
I want
worried
to see
about last
this
year,
team come
though.
out pissed off.
Yeah.
And I want to see them put up 10 goals because they know that's what they do. That's what they can do. And they need to flex their muscle and show, not everyone else, show each other inside the dressing room what they can do. And they deserve to be where they were last year and this year.
I think what you were talking about, Rick, is true, and I think that one thing we saw it last night, even just a little bit from Draisaitl, is that our stars kind of seem to drive that that motivation. McDavid starts throwing checks. Draisaitl starts throwing around the body, and then the rest of the team.
Connor's been doing that for a couple of years now.
Yeah, but it seems like
There's a big hit
that's
on the
when the
on the
team
side.
starts to kind of buy into it again and see like, hey, if McDavid can throw the
You
body,
better
so
go out
can
there and
I.
do it then.
Exactly. So, not a good thing to have.
I
the
think
team
it's
need
a
to be
good thing.
inspired
I
that
think it's a
way,
good
but-
thing. I mean, Jerome McGinley was at his best
Yeah.
when he was out there banging crashing. When we played them, our whole goal was don't wake him up, leave him alone, don't get him going. Leon's going to be exact same way. But this team, outside of those top end guys, need to show that they can bring this without them doing it because they need to be ones carrying that, not those three.
Anything else concern you guys from night one? Like the forward group thing and the defense, I think are obvious. What are you any concern with Skinner?
No.
No, he kind of has those games, doesn't he? It's funny, like
And
this talk
He
was
called
all
himself
around.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He's
like-
always like we've watched him learn these lessons on the fly. He knows how to bounce back.
Yeah, I mean,
If the
The
rest of the
boss-
team looked like great and he didn't look good, then maybe you say something. But the whole team looked to have the same like 45 heartbeat the whole
totally.
game, and that's what frustrates me. I mean, I'm sitting here right now, 2 days removed from that game, and I don't know what mine is, but yeah, I'm waiting for my watch to tell me to calm down.
I think obviously we're in Edmonton, so you hear about Skinner, but like the Boston Bruins are sat there and have allowed 10 goals in 2 games too,
Fair.
and I have not heard a word about it.
You hesitated, Dan.
What's that with the
When
goalies? I guess like it's more of an issue of still like is Pickard good enough to be his backup for the whole season? But I don't know. It's more just a I think sample size issue or thought.
I can't judge those goaltenders that much when the team in front of them played the way they did.
Of course,
That's true. If the goalies are brutal and the team was good, like a good old like 7-6 Oilers classic, then it would have been a lot different. But they sucked.
They did stink.
But
And
it's
now-
one game out of 82.
And
I
do-
want to see them respond.
Yeah, and I want to see them show us, hey, we learned our lesson from last year. We know how to bounce. Like elite teams rarely lose 2 in a row, never lose 3 in a row kind of deal, right? Show us you're an elite team. Go lay the boots to a bottom feeder who's coming in from Winnipeg on game day.
And it's funny because we have 2 different type of games coming up here. Because you have one game against Chicago where it's going to be probably relatively calm in terms of anger and whatnot. It's going to be a skill game for us.
Yeah.
And the next game, the next night, you have the guys coming from down south who are going to come up here and want to show who they are, and they're going to play a Winnipeg-style game, and we can't come out and play that Winnipeg game against them. They need to come out, use that skill they have on Saturday, and then they need to bang around with Calgary because they're going to come out here, and they're going to try and take us out.
All right, let's continue along here. Any other takes from the opener or anything around that?
no move on.
I do.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't like the crowd.
Explain.
Weren't you in the crowd?
Yes.
Okay.
Game 7, we lost. It is what it is. Lost on away ice. Didn't get to give the, normally if you lose at home, everybody sticks around. Team kind of, stands in the middle and you kind of cheer for them. This team came out. Everybody sat on their ass. Not one person stood up. And trust me, I was fuming at the time. You've got Connor McDavid, the greatest hockey player a lot of us are going to ever see
They
live.
stood up when McDavid came on the ice.
Not a lot. And I mean, not a lot at all. I won't say zero, but I'm going to say nobody.
During the player introductions, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
We should have been on our feet trainers are one thing. I get it. When they started after Kaner, they should have stood for Kaner. That's when it should have started, right? Because they started off with Stetcher, I believe. And then Kaner came out as the 2 scratches. You stand for Kaner, and then you stand as every one of these players comes out. The fact they sat there, we're turning into Toronto.
Oh, Rick.
No, Rick, easy now. Take that back.
I had 2 people sitting next to me that did not stand for the veteran.
That's
Oh,
unacceptable.
that's- yeah,
You
that's
should
not
stand
right.
for the veteran.
How about the Vancouver Canucks booed Elias Pettersson when they were losing 5-4?
Which one?
The good one.
Oh, which one's
They
that?
were booing Elias Pettersson, and every time when they were chasing the game against Calgary, like they obviously equalized with the JT Miller goal and then lost again. Every time the puck went like back over the blue line, they booed. So you guys are joking. Also, when Kevin Rooney,
Yeah.
when he was on the ice, they started chanting JT Miller.
While they're bringing out a stretcher.
Yeah, for Rooney, like unbelievable. What
That
a
was a
dirtbag fan base.
Just a bad luck hit.
Oh,
The hit was
100%.
fine. It was just
It
the
was
way he
very
fell on the boards was
the
terrible.
result.
100%. I don't. Did JT Miller get a penalty? I don't know.
I have no idea. I just remember
But
sitting. I
he
was in the
shouldn't have.
stands and
Yeah.
people were talking about it, so I looked at the hit.
Only penalties were after the play, the roughing.
Don't mind that.
That's-
not
yeah.
offsetting. Even Calgary ended
Oh,
up on
really?
the penalty kill.
That makes sense. But yeah, Vancouver, shocking. Not shocking, no. There you go.
Yeah, we experienced their fan base last year.
Yeah,
Perhaps
the
it's not
worst people
surprising.
I've ever met in my life.
All right. Let's move along. Let's get to our Ask the Idiots question. It's brought to you by not only our friends at Greta, but our season launch party, which is happening on Thursday. Season kickoff party brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. Doors open at 4, puck drop at 6. Edmonton versus Nashville on a Thursday night. What can you expect? Live shows, trivias, giveaways, a swag bag, all of that stuff and more, plus good food and drink specials with our friends at Greta. We're also going to have a Puck Plinko board, which is going to be debuted, so a chance for you to win some prizes. And as always, proceeds from your ticket go to support Free Play for Kids. Always a fun charity angle at our events as well. Head to nationgear.ca and get your tickets today. Number 1. Did the Oilers mishandle the Raphael Lavoie situation, Dan?
Which time?
Just in general, like, is
Yes.
there any spot in there where you think they did something wrong?
Yes, he's another one of the casualties of the Broberg, the Dylan Holloway conversation. The same issue that I have there, I have with the Lavoie when you're talking about signing all the players that you signed on July the 1st, July the 2nd, bringing in the veterans, bringing in the Corey Perrys of the world, and you forgot to sign the bottom half of your roster of players that you developed. So I have a problem with the sunken cost fallacy of the lost time that we developed Raph Lavoie, and that falls squarely with the Oilers, in my opinion.
Liam?
I think when they initially put him on waivers, I was fine because everyone was doing it. If everyone's doing it, you should do it too.
I know.
It's a
funny.
good time to sneak guys
It's a
through.
good
I
time
know
to
because
do
you
it.
always say the thing like everybody has when we get
Overvalues.
worried about a player out there. Like every team has a Benson. Okay, like it's fine. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Yep.
So it happened, and the first thing that came to mind was Tyler saying everyone's got a Lavoie. It's okay.
Well, Vegas claimed 2 Lavoies, and ironically, Benson went to Henderson after he was done with the Oilers too. Unbelievable. Honestly don't know why they put him on again. I know the accruing cap thing, but for the Oilers to think that cap is just going to keep growing the whole time and that there's going to be nothing that disrupts it until the deadline is foolish, I think. I agree with Dan, and I think I've said this on the show before too. Like, as great as the offseason was, I do think Jeff Jackson did make some errors with the younger guys, and they are important to the team as well. And yeah, we brought in Savoy, Gerventi, and I think there's one other guy, right? Obviously, Phil. They got Phil back. Great. Well, you should worry about the guys in there too. We'll see what Lavoie ultimately ends up being. We don't know what he's like in the NHL. He could be Tyler Benson.
Yep.
We don't know. But I am disappointed he's gone. So I'll say to start, it wasn't their fault. The rest of it was probably a mistake.
I think putting him through the first time, okay, then you got a bit of a gift because you could get him right back. I would have kept him for the weekend, seen if you get through the weekend healthy. If someone would have gets hurt this weekend, you're going to be sitting there going, damn it.
Our first call up is Drake Kajula,
Hell yeah.
Or Savoy or Philp.
and I don't. Okay,
But
maybe
it should have
Philp.
been. It should have been Raph.
Yeah, it may be Philp. I don't think should be Savoy. Not this early. I would really like to wait till like Christmassy.
Hamlin is another guy. I agree with what you're saying, though. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and this is almost like the owner, the management is much like the team. Someone's out there punching at us, and we're just taking punches. Punch back. Go get somebody. Show some. I don't know, whatever I'm yelling from right now. Show some of that. Like I know we have different management right now. So when you have different management, they don't necessarily think about your draft picks the same way as you do, and I get it. So whatever, but this is a guy who's in his make or break time. Put him on the roster. You've got an opportunity to. Corey Perry cannot play every game of the year.
No.
He can't. Derek Ryan cannot play every game of the year. Nope. So right now we're saying by running, yeah, you're right. We got lucky. We kept him. Fine. Figure out a way to run 13-7.
Yeah.
Because hopefully you're going to need that. You're going to need the 13th forward a lot more than you need a 7th defenseman. In terms, even if there's no injuries, you need that 13th forward more than the 7th defenseman.
I think sometimes you got to worry about the now and not what's going to happen down the road with the cap thing. Like, Lavoie is a positive asset for this team, and now you lost him for nothing.
Correct. And we've lost how much of our future? And I'm going to harp on those other 2 guys again. Now you lost 3 of those guys. And I don't know who lost the tweet.
Bogo?
I don't care about
as good as he was, but like losing our 4, Jarventi kind of bounced.
But at least Borgo didn't do anything in the AHL.
He was cut early from Ottawa's camp.
Yeah, he didn't do anything in the AHL. So at that point, it was a lost. Whatever, that didn't work. Fine. Lavoie did.
Totally. He was the highest scorer in preseason. 2 goals. Everyone else had 1.
But then you go look at the names who left versus the names who came in.
It's a lot.
It's not good. It does not make your organization better.
Well, organizational depth is an issue for this team already, and you need chips, even just to say like that Lavoie could be on this team to make a body move later on in the season. It's just, we're at like what 41 contracts now. Are we touching 39? Like,
well, they might have.
Well, I guess there's a couple of
with Travis Dermott.
They're at 44.
Damn, Daniel.
Yeah, 6 spots still. Yeah, it's not great. All right, next one I got for you guys. Rumor mill: the Toronto Maple Leafs could apparently be open to trading Timothy Liljegren, right shot defenseman, 25 years old, decent puck mover, this year and 1 more at a $3 million cap hit.
Why?
Great question.
Why
is Toronto willing to give up on this guy right now?
Apparently, he's let Toronto know at different points that he's open to a change of scenery. And Toronto, if you look at the defensemen they have on their roster, they have...
Oh, I got it. Chris Tanev on the right side, then also Connor Timmins and Philip Myers on the right side. And on the left, Morgan Riley, OEL, Jake McCabe. You have someone else?
Simone Benoit is good. And Jake McCabe plays the right side. He's a lefty who actually plays on the right side. So their right side top 4 is Tanev and McCabe. Their left side top 4 is Morgan Riley, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Simone Benoit is good. They like Timmins. They got Myers. They signed Yanni Hakanpää, who I know is on LTIR right now, and I don't know if he's going to play, but they have a lot of depth. And Liljegren apparently wants a bigger role, and he doesn't see a path to that in Toronto. So he could potentially be available.
I'm in. He's a good player.
So you like him over?
Yes.
The other option would be waiting until closer to the deadline. Because if you get Liljegren, you spend $3 million on him. That's probably the move. So are you okay with them doing the move now?
You think that's the only move?
Well, I just think you're committing the cap to Liljegren, so you're probably committing to not getting another defenseman at the deadline.
Another layer of it. Yes, I'm okay with that if it's not another defenseman. I would add another forward to the group too, but you got a 25-year-old right shot defenseman. We all wanted Broberg to be a right shot defenseman. He was a left shot.
Yeah,
so kind of works out well. He's cheaper than what Broberg gets paid. I think he's got I know he has. He's a lot more games than Broberg too. Real games, not 4 minutes a night.
Not on Broberg though.
What?
That's not on Broberg though.
Oh no, not on Broberg. But he just has more experience. And his J Fresh chart looks good.
I always like that.
83.
Dan, any interest in Timothy Liljegren or?
I'm worried about the cost of acquisition just because, like, what does Toronto need in return? Blue chip prospects, probably. I would imagine. Like they're not looking at any of those. They're not looking for roster spots at this point. I don't imagine. So
maybe picks that they could use at the deadline.
Yeah, they can't bring on anybody. They have no money.
They have no money. I think.
And do we have picks?
We do have Calvin, and then some draft picks too.
Yeah, they don't have a third. They don't have a third or fourth this year. They only have the 1 second. Also have no first.
What do you think the cost would be?
That's one way to say it.
What if you just gave up 2 of the picks you got in the Broberg Holloway thing? If you gave up the second and the third for him, so you'd still come out of it with a third and a prospect in that whole transaction, and you have Liljegren.
Yeah. I mean, what are you holding on to these things for, right? You're not even gonna sign the draft picks anyway. Yeah, they're gonna be gone when they're 23.
Yeah, you get a little bit worried about the fact that a team who should be pushing for the Stanley Cup is looking at moving a player like that, and you're like, hey, why? Like, what are the warts? Well, I want to know acquisition costs because obviously we don't have a lot to spend right now.
There's not many 25-year-old defensemen. Are we going to end up shooting ourselves in the foot by getting him now and say somebody of a higher quality is available down the road?
I mean, we picked up spot check, I think, in December. That's what I'm kind of looking for.
I think with Toronto,
Right?
and I
I think
don't 100% disagree with
These
what you're
guys were
saying,
very
Rick. Yes, the team who's trying to compete for the Stanley Cup probably shouldn't be trading 25-year-old defensemen. But I think Toronto's also that team that's like, well, we have to change something.
They need defensemen.
They're just like so worried about the angle of, well, Toronto just ran it back again and lost. If they trade Linger and be like, well, we tried to change things up.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe.
You can just imagine their fan base being all upset and going, "You did it again. We moved Liljegren, guys. What do you guys
What do you
want
want
from
us-
us?"
what do you
Well,
want us
there's
to
like
do?
3 forwards they all hate.
Yeah, Mitch Marner just leaves in free agency anyway.
All right, last one I got for you guys. It is Thanksgiving weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. Best and worst part of the traditional Thanksgiving spread, Rick?
Ooh, I mean, worst is easy. It's cranberry sauce.
Yep.
Best, it's a photo finish. It's a straight up tie with turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, and stuffing.
Oh, the best
Maybe
is,
a good roll.
the best
So
is when you
the
get
rest
all
of the
four of
meal.
those
Rest of
the
in
entire
one
meal.
bite.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know why? I take it all back. The best is actually the next day. It's the turkey sandwich. You get the bun,
Yeah.
the stuffing, the turkey, and the gravy all in one.
I'm with Rick. 100%. No
And
answers
keep that
changed.
cranberry juice.
Liam,
Well, yeah, you picked every item on the damn plate.
but he
I know,
just
I feel like I
nailed
did
it.
something you would do.
Nailed it.
It's all great besides the cranberry
Cranberries.
sauce. Yeah, I suppose. Stuffing's my favorite by a country mile. The worst, I guess it is cranberry sauce.
Is that
isn't
longer than a normal mile?
it? Country mile?
Is that
What?
longer
It
than a
is
normal
longer.
mile? Like
Yeah.
a baker's dozen's 13, so the baker can have one, and dozens of 12.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that's why they call it a baker's
Yeah,
dozen.
the baker gets one.
Okay, cool.
You didn't know that? But you need 2 birds in a bush.
You didn't know that.
He just
I
typed that
knew
into his.
that.
He just
No.
typed that into his notes so he can use it on the show
Yeah.
coming down.
It's stuffing is number one. But fun fact, I didn't like stuffing because I found where it came from. Until I was about like 15, I thought it just came from the turkey's butt. So I didn't like it. But now I love it. Stuffing is number one.
Although, like, stuffing done the, I'll put in air quotes, traditional way, like the way my baba used to make it, a lot of guts in there. And
Yeah, oh yeah.
Get some
Delicious.
gizzards in there, man. They got flavor.
No, I'm a
Delicious.
box stuffing guy.
And then the worst part for me is just the boiled vegetables. I just can't
They
it.
do suck.
Yeah, just any vegetable that just gets boiled is crappy.
Generally pretty bland.
That was us growing up though. Eh? You get to walk into the kitchen. There's,
Yeah.
The stove has got the potatoes. The back of the carrots are back there. And you're like,
Yeah. It's a part of it. You have to do it. But
Switch.
I have a
And
question
you
for you
can't
guys.
avoid the
Fucking
carrots. That's what
gravy.
makes you have a carrot.
Somebody, I was watching, I can't remember what it was, but they were talking about one thing you'd never want to know is what do Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift talk about at the dinner table? And I'm curious, what do you guys think that Lauren and Connor talk about at the dinner table? Like on just like a random night, like Thursday night last night, Connor and Lauren are sitting down at the table. What do you think that their conversation?
Not about Wednesday. Connor's talking about what he thinks Chicago's going to bring to them on Saturday.
I'm not sure how much he talks to her about hockey.
I think he's just talking right now, and she just sits there and listens.
I think she does a lot of the talking, and Connor is very focused on hockey. But I think if they talk hockey, it's from a very like personal perspective of like how was work today, like whatever.
But that's just it. Is he
Anything
can
happening.
like lean on her to. He can't say some of the things in the dressing room. You need to be positive, blah, blah, blah. But he can take his negative work stuff at home or to home, and she's like, "Okay, I'm ready." Shields are up. Let me have it, and he just unloads.
Interesting. What do you think?
Reality TV shows.
Who knows?
That's where I was kind of going with it.
Yeah,
I thought
they
they
are a
would just.
reality TV couple.
I thought they would just kind of go completely away from it and just be talking about nonsense like brain rot.
So
Like, oh, Taylor's coming to town this
Did
weekend.
you see
Should
that?
we host the halls?
Yes.
You know, maybe something like that.
she does watch Survivor. She posts about that.
That's still on?
Yeah, assuming Connor watches it with her, do you think they're a couple? Because this can be a decent debate amongst couples. When he's on the road, do
does she watch?
do they watch separately? Like, does he watch it in the hotel room? She watches at home. Then when they come back, they have something to talk about, which is what I always tell Amber we should do with Big Brother, regardless. Or do you think they're on the PVR and they got to watch it in the same room?
I like how you preface this with this is a debate that could happen because it's definitely happened.
Some
for time.
people have this debate.
The
Often.
the amount of times I've like during the playoffs and stuff when there's TV shows Amber and I are watching, I was like, let's both watch it tonight. I'll do it in the hotel room. You do it home, and then we have something to talk about together. She's like, nope, I don't want to watch it without you. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Andrea does not do that to me. I hate it. I wish she would wait for some things. we're a big Gilmore Girls couple. And I have seen maybe like 10
Hasn't that
episodes.
show been off the air for like 10 years?
Yeah, but
Just
like
watching
I've
it
never
right
seen it before.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Andrew's seen it a bunch of times. So I'll like, we don't go to bed at the same time. And when I do go to bed, I'll get in there and be like 2 seasons ahead. I've missed a whole season. Not sure what happened to Jesse. I think that's his name. The guy from This Is Us.
That's so sad.
You guys know?
Yeah.
That is so sad for you.
And
Nah, they definitely wait till they watch it
I-
together.
no,
this way,
I don't think they
this
wait.
way, it's like we were talking about at dinner time. This way, she can like you can you can relax and unwind. We'll sit down. We'll watch this together.
That's a good point.
No, I think that they're a FaceTime couple. I think that they turn it on at the exact same time and they FaceTime with each other and sit there and talk about it.
No, I, you know what? Respectfully disagree because on the road, it's him and Leon time.
Fair
just,
enough.
just those two.
That's the
Oh,
couple.
yeah. Sorry, ladies. You can talk to
swap.
you hang out together. But when we're on the road, it's me
Fair
and Leon.
enough.
There is someone in this room who might be able to get us the answers to these questions. That's all I'm saying. All right.
It ain't me.
We're going to continue along and get to some our last couple segments. But first, we're going to step aside for a quick break. Back on Oilers Nation Radio. Quickly, before we get into our betting talk, did anyone here tune into Coast to Coast, the Amazon attempted an NHL style a red zone style NHL show?
I did not.
No?
I caught some like clips. That's where I learned Leon's
The Leon beer thing. I thought it was okay. The nice thing about Red Zone is 7 hours of commercial-free football. This coast-to-coast thing was littered with ads. There was commercial breaks for like 3 minutes at a time, and he'd come back and he'd miss goals. So I think if Amazon's going to do it, they got to buy in and no commercials or build ads into it.
I have to give them credit though, and it's not my hot performer, but I think it's one of the options is those guys because they have turned down, and I don't know if this is true, but I saw a tweet. They have turned down any political ads.
Oh, wow.
So they've turned away like that's gonna be big money. That's easy big money, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have turned that away to keep that out of the
Thing.
purview. Like that to them to turn down big money. Hats off.
Yeah, it's going to keep going every Thursday. So hopefully they can
Is
build
it the
on it a little
same
bit.
panel?
I'm not sure if it'll be the same panel every week.
Is that the one they announced with like Thomas Hickey, or is that a different
That's
thing?
Monday Night Hockey on Amazon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that free too?
I think if you have Amazon
Outside
Prime.
of.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's actually really good.
Challenging thing to try and replicate is that red zone, though, just because of the
Football's
structure
different.
of the NFL schedule.
Football's different.
It allows them to hop between 7 or 8 games at a time.
No, like
All the
six.
ga-
and then 4.
But it's also
All the
play-by-play
games in the morning.
is so
That
start-stop
too,
in
yeah.
the NFL, and you know a
Ball's
team
on the 2, second and goal from the 2. There's a good chance. Show this.
Yeah.
Connor, you have the puck behind the net. Don't show them. 2 seconds later, Connor went through the whole damn team and scored a goal. Ah, shit.
So last night there was 4 games that started at 5, and then there was staggered between Utah. There was 1, 2, 3, 4 that staggered from 5:30 to about 7 starts, and then San Jose and the Blues was 8:30.
Will they dip into a game that's on a power play?
That's what I didn't watch a lot of it. I watched it hit and out.
I
but
mean,
like,
that'd be kind of like going to them when they're about to
yeah,
score.
I think
Football.
that's what they need to do is the commercial thing. They should just kind of float it to 2 screens, have the commercial on the right, and then you get rid of the commentary or something like
F1
that.
style?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah, F1 style. That's exactly right. They should just hang on the power plays for longer.
Me too.
And
Yeah,
then
I
that gives the panel a bit of a break to go to the bathroom, whatever they want to do, have a sip of water, and that's how I would do it. And then the last game of the night, which should have been massively celebrated because they were celebrating his first game. Could have had a pun there, damn it. That was it. They missed the first goal.
Celebrating his goal, yeah.
Celebrating his goal.
And it's so hard. Like it's so hard to find a goal in hockey. Like to predict.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I really do think it just comes down to your producer, and I know that sounds convenient for me to say it.
They're
as a
gonna have to
person
learn
that's-
as they go too, though.
But like, it exists, and I've sat in a space where you can have the 6 games on, and you could be jumping around as much as you want. And like you guys said, I think you use the power plays as an opportunity to pump in some ads, get away from your panel, give them a break. And then, yeah, you're hopping back and forth because the action is continuous for a lot of games for long streaks. And
Yeah.
then sometimes it's choppy and you got to jump to somewhere else.
Doesn't the panel just talk about the game that's on the screen at the time?
They actually just talk about anything.
Yeah, but like, so I mean, if you think like red zone NFL style, there really is no panel. They just go,
Yeah, it's one guy-
and you just go to their broadcast, go to the
Yeah.
broadcast,
and the
broadcast,
producer's kind of
broadcast.
telling them where they're
But
going.
this one here, you do broadcast on mute and let the panel talk over it? Is that what I'm saying?
It's
For
a bit of
stretches,
both.
Yeah, they did both.
So next Thursday, they have 6 games that start at 5, and the Oilers are part of it next Thursday. Obviously, they play the Predators.
At 6.
At 6. So there's 1 game at 5:30, 2 at 6, 1 at 6:30, and then 1 at 8. So we'll see.
All right, we got to move along and get to some betting talk for our friends at Bet365, the largest sports betting platform globally. Download the app today. Use the promo code OILYBONUS to get in on a huge range of markets. One thing I love about Bet365 is that they keep up a lot of their futures props for the whole year, and they stay live and they adjust them on the go. The Oilers over-under for the year now to 108.5 with the overpaying plus 105. So a little bit juicier on that over now after the opening night loss for the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers to record a 110-plus point season is now plus 140, that is. And after being shut out in the first game of the season. Oh, never mind. I thought I had McDavid on there. We don't have him for goals. Anyways. Do they have Dylan Gunther? No, they don't.
Damn it.
That'd be something, though, if you could bet on it.
Just shots.
One question I wanted to ask you guys for the rest of October for our friends at Bet365. There are 10 more games on the schedule. The Oilers will play Chicago, Calgary, Philly, Nashville, Dallas, Carolina, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Columbus, and then Nashville. So 2 against Nashville, and then a Carolina and a Dallas. Only 4 of those 10 teams are going to play. Made the playoffs last season. Out of the final 10, how many wins do you think the Oilers get, Rick?
I mean, looking at these teams, it needs to be close to 10.
Like you want
You should be able to beat a lot of those guys, and then you need to show up against Dallas because obviously that's going to be one of your battles all through the year. Carolina's going to be another one where it's Dallas-esque, probably going to be top of the East-ish, and then we'll be top of the West. And the rest of them, you should relatively beat them with a bit of ease. So let's call it 10 games, 17 points.
Dan, how many wins in the final 10 games?
I'm going to say, just doing a quick read off of Liam's screen here. I'm going to say 6 wins, 2 overtime losses,
2
making
normal.
it 2 regular losses. Yeah.
6-2-2. I'll say 7-2-1. I think you should run the table the rest of the homestand. You should win these next 3 games and then split Nashville, Dallas, split Carolina, Pittsburgh, and then run the table on the road to finish it off and beat Nashville that last game of the year or last game of the month.
Pittsburgh, I just think
They stink.
they didn't make the playoffs last year, and they might be pushing playoffs.
But Carolina might
we
beat
should
ya.
lose to an 8th seed.
Liam, how many games?
6.
6. So 6,
I
7,
think
6.
then they'll clean this little homestand here. I could see that Dallas game being tough. Obviously, it's Dallas. They're a really good team. Then they'll beat Carolina and Pittsburgh. I think the Detroit game is going to be interesting. Going to Detroit is difficult. Is that my math right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And you should be calling your friend Gary Bettman and figuring out that little Nashville thing, both being on the road, split them
first
up
month.
so we can try and get a trip down there.
Yeah, Gary screwed us.
Again,
Nice one,
2
Gaz.
years in a row.
There you go. That is our little bit of betting talk. Could the Oilers be a profitable betting team on the money line by the end of the month? I'd be betting on yes. Shout out to Bet365. All right, boys, let's wrap up the show with our hot and cold performers for our friends at Great Clips. With more than 4,400 hair salons throughout the United States and Canada, Great Clips is the world's largest hair salon brand and official hair salon of the NHL. Salons are locally owned and operated and open 7 days a week. And your time is valuable, which is why you can use the Great Clips check-in app to see the wait time, check it on your phone, and get your hair cut when you want. You can find a salon near you on the website. You can also download the app today. Makes it all incredibly easy. A fresh haircut boosts your mood. Has you feeling a little good? I need a haircut. My hair is getting a little bit long. Need a little beginning of the season cleanup. I'll be hitting up our friends at Great Clips. GreatClips.com. Great Clips. It's going to be great. All right, boys. Hot and cold performers, as we like to do. This pod is also flown by.
Yeah, we're only at 48 minutes.
Oh, really? I thought that said 58.
Oh, no.
I was also looking at the clock because it's almost 2:30, but I guess we started late. Let's start with our veggies. Dan, what do you got?
I'm going to give it out. I do like the documentary as a whole, but I'm going to give it out to the Amazon documentary for the first episode, which spent the first 5 minutes trying to sell me on the fact that, or they think that William Nylander is what's going to take the Toronto Maple Leafs to where they're going to be. And so I like to think that there's a fan that is just getting introduced to the game and watched this documentary for the first time and is going into the season thinking, man, the Leafs are just going to go as far as William Nylander is willing to take them. So that gets my cold performer of the week.
I'm upset.
No points through 2 games for William Nylander.
That's why they're not going to win this year.
Didn't hit his shots in the first game either. Not that I was watching or anything.
Liam?
My cold performer of the week goes to the Drayton Valley Thunder. They've been quite the disaster for many years now.
Yeah.
And I think if you know why. There's a certain someone who likes to run the show there. And they fired their entire coaching staff yesterday. Got so much backlash that the players are now protesting this weekend. And they deleted the post off social media.
On strike?
Yeah, the players are now on strike.
That was a player's dad who tweeted that, by the way.
Yeah.
The players are on strike?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And old players quote tweeted, original tweet, saying how much they like to play. I believe his name was Jeff Walker. So, DV, you suck. Not the talent on the team.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Rick?
Well, I already brought up the fan thing, so I'm going to go to a different league, and we're going to go to the NFL. And I didn't know if anyone realizes this, but if you're on the IR, it's at least 4 games. And should just be. But if you have a bye week in there, it doesn't count.
That's weird.
It's stupid.
Injuries heal over time, not over a set amount of games played.
Yeah. So like, and I'll explain it too. I was on IR 4 weeks. Should be allowed to play our next game because it's 3 missed, then a bye week. But he still has to miss that one, so you're gonna technically 5.
Weird.
Yeah, dumb.
They are just fucking ass right now.
Hell yeah.
It's a good button. My cold performer of the week, Rick, I am going to give it to fans. I'm over fans screaming the dig in at the game. It's been 1 game. I heard too many people do it, and they all thought they were so funny, being like, dig in.
Pretty original.
Super original. That, and if you're at a game, everyone knows how much Darnell Nurse makes. Everyone knows his contract isn't good. You don't have to yell it at him.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be wearing my 2-5 jersey a lot more going forward.
Why are you the way that you are? I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Yeah.
Flipping the ledger, hot performer of the week. Rick, I'll let you go first.
Oh, boy.
Well, it's probably not on purpose, but they have somehow stumbled onto providing the best seat in all of the NHL, and that's Utah on that 1 seat. It's probably the guy beside him too, but it's just, it overlooks the corner. It's this weird,
But it's elevated so you can see the other side of the ice.
It's this weird, like,
Pretty cool.
Yeah. What's the second level of a balcony? It's like a balcony spot. It's great, and that ticket should be like, I don't know what you sell it for, but I'd be looking for one every single game.
Really makes up for the seats. You literally cannot see the ice.
I was just going to say,
1000%.
they sacrificed 1,000 seats views to make one amazing
Let's not even talk
year.
about what's going on behind the nets.
Yeah.
Liam?
I think I'll go to Utah as well. That home opener was pretty fun. I think they'll have a really fun team. Dylan Gunther has been lining it up. I'm actually going to change it slightly. The rookies and the kind of younger guys in the league right now, like Celebrini was awesome yesterday. Gunther's been great. I'm excited to see Mitchkov today too.
Put some respect on my name.
Sorry
Wish
to
we had
the-
some youth.
Sorry to the
Emerson.
Utah organization who were about to get the award and then were ripped away from
Yeah.
it at the last second.
My bad.
When you pivoted to the rookies.
Maybe you should have had more celebrities there than I knew.
somebody
Don't
thinks
know
about
who
the kids.
Schmoozy is.
Shabuzi.
No,
Dan, hot performer of the week.
Schmoozy. I thought it was
My
Schmoozy.
hot performer of the week is going to go to Jessica Campbell for
yeah.
becoming the first women coach in NHL history. Wonderful to see. Awesome to see. It's about damn time.
I can't believe it!
I can actually believe it. She's worked her way up. Maybe I could have hit a different button. My hot performer of the week going out to our boy Eric Sabrowski. Playoff debut for the Guardians. Scoreless outing. That's all the guy does. He,
Big game
without a
today.
doubt, gets my hot performer of the week. Game 5, Guardians-Tigers. Goes Saturday at 11 a.m., and it should be a good one.
He's a hot guy!
Do you know only 5 players? Do you know only 6 players have scored in the NHL debut who were the first overall pick since 2000?
Wow.
And the Nuge was one of them.
3, 4.
It was Celebrini, Matthews, Nuge, Tavares, Ovechkin, and
Adam Oates.
Rick Nash. 2000.
I was looking at the graphic. I said Adam Oates.
He just gets credit. I don't know why. All right, let's play our music.
Oilers legend.
What do we think happens this weekend? Win them both? Either of them a blowout, Rick?
Stomp them. Yeah, I think they both should be victories by at least 3 goals.
I think tomorrow will be a blow. I think Sunday will be overtime.
I'll say like a 5-1 or 5-2, and then a tighter like 4-3, 4-2.
I say 8-4 Oilers win over the Blackhawks, and then I say 5-4 overtime loss to the Flames.
If Calgary team somehow scores 4 goals on us,
We got problems.
I won't be happy.
There. 2 games. Make sure you turn into pre-gaming with Boardsy and Oilers Nation After Dark, beginning and wrapping up both of the games on the weekend. Have a fantastic Canadian Thanksgiving weekend to all of our, obviously, Canadian listeners. Enjoy the hockey, and we'll chat with you again on Tuesday. What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.